Welcome to Paw Print Academy, your blueprint to raising better dogs. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your host for this journey. I've got my trusty co-host here, Brianna.
Hello.
And together we're bringing you real-world training insights built on leadership, structure, and proven methods. We record this podcast with live clients on the line in one take with live, unscripted questions and answers. At the end of the day, this podcast is a lot more than just teaching your dog to sit or stay. It's about building trust, creating calmness, and becoming the kind of leader your dog truly needs. We do that with our 3-pillar method of trust, obey, and perform. Together, we'll show you how these 3 pillars shape every step of training. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. Hey. It's episode 21. We made it past 20.
We did.
I'm super excited about that. Chewing and destructive behavior. Why dogs destroy things and how to stop it. Tonight we are talking about the mindless chewing and the destroying of the house and the couches.
Such a hard phase.
It is. And it plagues puppies primarily, but it's not just puppies,
Right.
and it can be any dog, and it can develop later in life too. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Additionally, a couple of news things. I should get some like transition music and then do like a little like newscast of like different statistics as they're coming up.
Or the little
each week.
meow, meow, meow.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, I know, right? It is cool.
Sweet. So where I was going with this was we are up to 500 downloads.
Oh,
Which is exciting.
that is exciting.
I mean, we're not holding a candle next to very many people, but you know what? We have more than 3. And so I'm excited about that. Because it's like my mom and my dad and
Right.
and you.
You.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
not me, you.
Right. I don't think you even listen to it. So.
I do not. No. I participate.
All right. So anyway, super excited. We're up to 500 downloads. So I don't have a perfect metric of how many people have actually listened or how many times they've listened after downloading or how all of those metrics play out. But that is an encouraging number. And additionally to that, we have a really cool announcement that I intend to fully release a Paw Print Academy app as early as 1st of May for normal folks. But we are looking for beta testers, basically.
Yeah, basically.
It's not really a beta. I don't know anything about this stuff, to be honest. We'll just throw that out there. But put in a lot of work into creating a kind of an atmosphere or a all-inclusive type environment where we can both improve clarity to our clients and to private lesson clients that are local, but also being able to reach out a little further and help people out that aren't able to be local through a bunch of different avenues. And we'll talk more about that later, but super excited about that. Instead of going down the school or Patreon route, we're trying to reach some people in our own Paw Print Academy way. And the podcast is integrated into it. So you can listen to it inside. Yeah, it'll be great. So we'll hit that with more as the time gets closer. But if you are interested in testing it out or helping us work through the bugs and develop the things, I am very certain that if I were to just throw it out there on the App Store, everything would crash immediately. I have no faith in what I've built. So always looking for people to help out, and always looking for constructive criticism. I'll even take regular criticism. But if there's anything that we're doing with the app, or in more accuracy, if there's anything we're doing on the podcast that we can do better, or some equipment that we can use that like fixes a problem, or maybe the volumes aren't like leveled out or something like that, I don't know what I'm doing. So I am open to suggestions. So as you have those, please, by all means, I try my hardest. I'm the hardest trier, but I don't always nail it. So please let me know what I can do better and what we can do better, and we will absolutely give it our best shot. Okay, those are the announcements for tonight. That's it. Now, let's get into the core idea for the night. Chewing and destructive behaviors are not spite and revenge. I'm going to say it one more time. Rule number 1. When your dog is acting up, it is not because they're trying to get revenge on you.
Right. They're not upset at you.
That's not why dogs do what they do. That is a human-based emotion / behavior. And we put that on the dogs all the time. I get calls about it. I don't know why recently spite has come up multiple times. And it's like, well, they're spite peeing over there in the corner. Yeah. Can you explain that to me? What is the spite peeing? Well, it's because they just went out and then they go over there and they're like, well, you didn't let me out fast enough, or you put me in my kennel or whatever. So I'm going to pee over here. So then you have to clean it up. I'm going to take quarrel with that, because the science says, not Ryan says, but the science says that that's not how dogs think. Mm-hmm. They don't think second and third level like that. They are opportunistic, yes, but manipulative, no. Mm-hmm. Opportunistic is the door's open. I want to go outside. I'm going to go outside. Manipulative is I'm going to go outside so that then my mom has to chase me around, and she will, be next to me when this dog next door barks at me. So now I've got backup.
Right. And also it's like they build patterns of knowing like how to get what they want. So even if a dog develops a pattern of something that's advantageous for them, they've learned that because it worked for them at least one time. And so they're going to do it again. It's not that they were like, well, I'm going to do this because I know that this is going to happen. They just tried it one time most of the time.
Right,
and they were like, it worked. I'm going to keep doing that. They just tie it to exactly what happened following that behavior.
So I've said a lot in recent lessons. I use the example that dogs are little scientists, and they're always running experiments all throughout the day. And I feel like that's a really good analogy, because when you run an experiment, you might get a result that even as a human, as a scientist, you get a result and you attribute that result to one thing.
Yeah.
But actually it happened because of something else.
Right. And that's why they tell you in science experiments, you have to change one thing at a time. You can't change multiple things, because then you don't know what developed that result.
Yeah, 100%. And dogs are no different. Mm-hmm. They're the scientists, though, in this like analogy.
Yeah.
And so they do something, and they pee on the floor, and you freak out, but at the same time as you freak out, their toy fell off of the couch and landed next to them. And they go, oh, well, that was cool. Right. For just as a crazy example, right? And I don't have a prepped example in my head, but whatever it is that they see in that environment, you might not have seen. You might not have seen the same thing. And so you're like, oh, they want me to freak out. They got pleasure out of that. Man, it's probably not. Probably not that. They probably saw something else, but they attributed that to the reason or the result of what they did.
Yep.
Okay. I had to get that out though. The spite thing, I hear it more often than I would like. And it's just not an attribute of the canine species.
Right. And so chewing and destructive behaviors like both come from what? Instead, not spite.
Right. Not spite.
Not spite.
Not spite. I'm going to get there. I'm trying to stay in line here. But
I'm
it does not come from spite. You're right. So they're a result of unmet needs, right? Stress, lack of structure, poor management, or dogs can destroy things because it relieves pressure, or it fills the time, or it satisfies some sort of instinct that they have, or, something that they feel like they're supposed to be doing, or just because it was there and they were curious. They're like, I wonder what that tastes like.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this isn't so bad. And they didn't even know that they were going to enjoy it, but it was there. And they're like, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
Anyway, lasting solutions, though, come from prevention, structure, and providing appropriate outlets. Not just from yelling, screaming your head off, and punishing and correcting your dog.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Why dogs chew and destroy? Here's our major point 1. Destructive behavior always serves a purpose for the dog. Always. Dogs don't do anything without purpose. Neither do humans. We say all the time, oh, I don't know why I did that. Well, but there was a reason. There was a reason lest you wouldn't have decided that. Well, dogs are no different.
Yeah.
Everything they do serves a purpose. It's our job to figure out what that purpose was, and that's how we fix the problem, by doing something that we're going to talk about. So let's first zero in on what we're talking about. Puppies can chew to explore. They can chew out of a soothing feeling, right? For their teeth hurt, right? We've all heard they're teething. Well, what is that? Right? And when a puppy's teeth are coming in, or their mouth is hurting because their teeth are moving and coming through the gums and all of these things, that can be a painful process. And chewing is something that relieves or is soothing to that dog. And so they find things to chew on. And it relieves stress in the animal, right? So that's puppies. Adolescent and adult dogs can chew sometimes for the same reasons, as far as exploring or soothing some sort of discomfort. You'll find that a dog that is in pain, they've got a torn ACL, or they've got a bad hip. You'll find that those dogs have a higher propensity of chewing than a healthy dog, because it's soothing. And then you of course you have excessive energy. Yeah. They're just like, it's like an anxious behavior. It's like tapping a pen, in a meeting, because you're anxious and you've got energy and you're nervous and you're just You find something to let that energy out, and dogs are no different. All right, next one.
Anxiety and frustration commonly show up as destruction when dogs are left alone. And so we talk to owners all the time about dogs getting items and things like that in a room when the owners aren't watching them or aren't able to watch them, and the dog just has free reign. Well, then we come down to, unsupervised freedom. It allows the dog just to rehearse over and over, like grabbing things and taking them and destroying them. And just like we talk about dogs with reactivity, right? The more they get to rehearse that behavior on the front end before they know anything about training, the more likely they are to continue that behavior. And so it becomes a pattern. And what we try to always stop in any dog that we don't want to see is a pattern that they start to develop. At the very beginning, it's way easier to stop a behavior that you see the dog going, oh,
I'm going to try this.
Yeah, I'm going to try this. Or this happened, now this happens. This happened, now this happens. And it's a behavior. And if it's a negative one, if you don't stop it early, it's just going to grow and it's going to be way harder in the long run. And not giving them those outlets will also like just have them make poor choices, to be honest with you, because we hear that all the time too from owners is, well, I don't want to teach my dog to chew on things or bite things. And so I don't want to give them those items. But if we don't give them that outlet, especially like bully breeds and things like that, where they just are born to use their jaws, if we don't give them that outlet in some way, they're going to use it negatively. And so when we talk about dogs with, a propensity to, show aggression or bite things and, use their mouths in ways that we don't want to, and we go, well, let's play tug with them. Inevitably, owners that have never played tug with their dog is like, well, I don't want to teach them to bite or like to chew things. Right, but they're going to do that anyways most of the time.
Yeah, I just added, that's a really good point. I just added that into our how we're going to fix this thing.
Right, because it's like if you don't teach them the good things, they'll just teach themselves the bad things.
Yeah.
And so that is a really big one also that owners are kind of concerned about.
Yeah, so if they don't have the outlet to do whatever it is that like is in their brain, their genetics to do, then they're going to find other things to do.
Right. And even if your dog is like, I want to run, and they don't ever get to run, well, like,
right. This applies universally.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what.
This doesn't even just apply to chewing.
Yeah.
It's all things. All of these dogs, this is a common universal theme. Mm-hmm. Dogs were bred for a reason originally.
Yeah.
And that's genetically, they've been selected and bred to genetically perform certain actions.
Yeah.
And then we take them and we put them in a living room and we're like, all right,
sometimes
just lay there.
In a purse.
Some people put them in a purse. You're right. Yeah. You're right. But just in general, it's like, I just want a family dog.
Yeah.
And I bought, it's like, sorry, this is just a theme that it sounds silly when you talk about it, but people go and they find dogs and we ask them, we get to see this all the time where we ask an owner, why did you pick that dog?
Yeah, it's my favorite question.
and they're like, well, because look how cute he is.
Yeah, that's the number one answer. It's like if we were playing Family Feud, it's like that would be up there. Is it the right reason? No. But is it the number one reason people give us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. But we pick the dog because of how they look, but not because of like, what was this dog bred to do?
And I'll give you
what is the statistically highest chance of activity that this dog is going to feel fulfilled doing? Right. Did anyone ask that question?
I'll also give you a life hack right now. The cuter they are, the harder the time you're probably going to have. I'm going to just give you the ultimate life hack you should follow.
Immediately,
the cuter they are, you should probably go.
If we could go down in downloads, we would.
Be in trouble.
People are going to turn this off immediately.
No.
I don't want to know anymore.
Because I'll work with the super cute ones.
But it's so true that we try to adopt a mountain lion, and then we're like, just sit on that place bed. Why won't you just chill?
Yeah.
And it's like, you got a mountain lion.
That's like the lady with the deer in her backyard locally that was like, I'm going to keep this deer.
Right.
And then it mauled someone. So you can't.
The deer?
Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but
right. But you can't go based on like cuteness.
Gored someone? Is that with antlers?
I don't know
it
what
mauled
that's called.
someone. It seems like
I don't know if that was the right word. Okay. Anyways, that's not what I was going for there. The
right.
goal
It hurt someone.
was
I got it.
that, yeah, it's cute.
Right,
but
because
like,
it was a wild deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You gotta train it, I guess.
You gotta get a deer trainer. That's obviously.
All right, we went way off the rails there.
Right.
Let's get back on track.
If you know a deer trainer, please like and subscribe.
Host you on this
I
podcast.
want you to come onto the podcast.
Questions.
I am very curious how close to dog training deer training would
I'm
be.
like, is there a relation there?
I don't
Because
know.
like I know people talk about like human psychology when we will start talking to them about dog training.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my gosh, it's the same. Like
Yeah.
we've talked to a child psychologist and she was like, this is blowing my mind. And a lot of it does relay back to the same exact, like the same exact behaviors and
Yeah.
things. And so, yeah.
So if you are
I
a deer
wonder.
trainer or you know a deer trainer, please send them my way. Ryan at topdogtrainingnc.com. We can set up a guest co-host situation virtually through Zoom. It'll be great.
This entire
I
thing
would
makes
love
me
to
want to
have you
start
on the
talking
show.
about koala bears that I just found out about yesterday, but I won't. Let's go back
That's
on
next
track.
week's episode.
Yeah.
So on this week's episode, we are talking about dogs that chew. And so
And we are back on the train
we're
tracks.
back on the train tracks. Let's talk about why punishment after the fact usually fails. So
Yeah.
most owners are going to respond to the chewing too late.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, obviously, no one's going to let their dog just chew on the legs of the sofa. So,
while they're making eye contact.
right, exactly. You're not going to sit there and watch them do it and then be like, okay, well, this is fine up until a point.
Right.
No
more.
That's not right. You're like, okay, and it's been 30 seconds, no more. Usually, you immediately jump in. But the problem is that most of the time when we're talking about a dog that actually like destroyed stuff, you weren't there
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
And so then you come back to it later, and this is where like the wheels fall off the train.
Right. It really goes back to like the same thing with like potty training, right? You can't scold the dog after the fact. They have no idea what you're yelling about.
Yeah. So when you start yelling about something and it's not directed at a behavior, or better said, interrupting a behavior, you're likely going to lack clarity.
Yep.
And when you lack clarity, you're just not teaching the dog anything.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs do not associate delayed punishment with past behavior. It is widely accepted in the dog training world that you have somewhere in the ballpark of 1 to 2 seconds that you can properly relate what the dog just did to a reward or punishment.
Yep.
And the dog will understand. Mm-hmm. After that window, now it's no longer generally accepted. Now it's just a random shoot based on your dog's genetics, how old they are, how engaged they are to you, whether they're actually getting the message or not.
Yep.
Some dogs will pay attention for 3 seconds. Some dogs will pay attention for 5 seconds. Some dogs, they never made it past 1.5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we say 1 to 2 seconds, that's your window to properly associate whatever the behavior was, good or bad, to a consequence.
Yeah.
Good or bad. You can have good consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Consequence for sitting when asked is, here's a treat. There's your consequence. We usually talk about consequences with negative connotation, but a consequence is just the result of that behavior. So the next part is, if we just scold the dog after we return home, we're talking minutes, if not hours later.
Right.
You have no hope of truly breaking through that dog's mind and them being like, yes, the chewing was what I wasn't supposed to do. If a dog destroys a pillow and you come home 2 hours later and then you hold the pillow and you're yelling and screaming at the dog might show like that they're remorseful and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And they do they get real low to the ground and they flip over on their back and all these things. And then people go, they learned their lesson. But did they?
Right.
It's highly unlikely that they associated their action of chewing to all of that screaming that you just did.
Yep.
Instead, they have 100 different variables and smells and the sounds and all of these things that you might not even pick up on that they're experiencing all at once. And they may pick one of those other variables and associate that for the reason why you're being hysterical at that moment.
Yeah.
So we can't do that. Removing freedom without teaching structure leads to frustration. So if we roll back inside, we grab the dog, when we toss them into their crate and slam the door, now they'll understand that they're in the crate because of this. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you, highly unlikely that you're doing yourself a service and explaining clearly to your dog what they did wrong.
Yeah.
Deterrence alone fail without management and training. We've got to be present for this training to actually take place. Yep. And finally, the inconsistency of when we respond and how we respond teaches a dog that sometimes destruction's allowed. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's not. And this comes into play when you have all of the regular human style variables that come into play. So you come home and you've had a bad day and you're dealing with this and you're dealing with that. And then you see the dog chewed just a little tiny bit on the couch. And you're like, gosh darn it. Mm-hmm. But you're just too tired to deal with it. Or, maybe you didn't even find the accident that the dog has until the next day.
Yep.
Right? And it's like, well, what did we reinforce there? Mm-hmm. That the whole situation, because you weren't able to do it, like at what point is it bad and at what point is it acceptable? When that is confusing to a dog, you have no hope.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, we're trying this new format here. So I'm going to try opening it up if anybody has any of these types of experiences, both the why and how, let me say it a better way. If anyone listening has an experience that they have had with chewing, destructive behavior, or just dogs doing something that they're not supposed to do that you normally would not appreciate in the home while you're gone, stuff like that. I'm going to open up the floor here to anyone who wants to jump in. I'll just give it just a minute here, and then we'll move on to how we're going to recommend you prevent and replace the behaviors.
Right, because I have one, but mine goes back to
that's fine.
How to prevent
right.
it.
If nobody has one, it's totally fine. We can move on to yours.
Right, well, I won't skip to mine. We'll just wait until major point 3, because if so, I'll just spoil all of major point 3.
You're going to spoil all of them.
Yeah,
okay.
I will.
All right, so we'll move forward with this is how we're going to recommend that we prevent and replace these behaviors. Prevention and structure is going to stop the destruction before it starts. Obviously, the proactive way to deal with this is to start it before it starts. I said start it before it starts. Stop it before it starts. So I've been waiting to talk about this. You know what? Let me hit this one first. We can manage the dog's freedom. We can manage the dog's experience, their structure, what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do, so that we can provide, one, clarity of expectations for the dog. Two, we keep them out of trouble because we prevent them from making bad choices in the first place. And 3, it reinforces our relationship with the dog because it doesn't put us at odds with the dog.
Yeah.
When if you were to have a child and they were growing up, at what age can you leave this child at home? There are some states in the United States that have specific laws that it's like this old.
Right.
That's not even what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about from a parent's point of view.
We're the 90s.
Right. In the 90s, there was also an age where you could leave kids at home.
Yeah, but
The concept is simply that if I was to ask you a pointed question, what age can the child stay at home? There's a lot of variables that go into that.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the most major variables, if it's your child, is at what point do you trust them to make good decisions when you're not there? And having a dog stay out at home is no different. If they lack the maturity to make good choices when you are not physically present and there and watching them, no amount of training makes them not, or it makes them more mature or less mature. Time and that training helps them to mature. But you don't just take a dog and it's like, well, after they're 6 months old, then they can stay out. That's not going to make them successful. Showing them, guiding them, and using training in a systematic way leads the dog into making more appropriate decisions. But while that process is going on, you got to prevent the problems from starting. And that means put your dog in a crate. Put your dog on place. Tether your dog. Give your dog something to do. Put your dog outside in a fenced-in yard. Bring your dog back in. Don't leave them anywhere for an extended period of time. At the point where you can't physically watch them, it doesn't matter if it's 30 seconds, 5 minutes, or 2 hours. If they don't possess the maturity to make appropriate decisions, then they have to go into one of these management strategies.
Yeah, I think pet owners a lot of times now, it's like they love the dog to the equivalent of a human child, but they are not willing or feel like they are able to hold the dog accountable and in a I lost the word I was thinking of. I
lose words all the time.
I know, mine's on the floor now, and I never lose my words usually. It was right there still. I don't know. In a way that, like, you guide your children to yes or no, right and wrong. I think a lot of it, like, it comes down to, like, we love our dogs super hard, but we don't see, like, structure and, like,
we see them as control rather than leadership.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you're going for, but
kind of, I guess.
One of the biggest things that, and we're not going to go all the way down the road of crate training. We've did a whole episode on that, but the value of putting your dog in selective temporary confinement will always resort back to this concept of structure. Mm-hmm. And
discipline was the word I was looking for.
Okay.
We're, like, willing to love our dogs to, like, the extent of human, like, affection, but I feel like when we look at a dog, we have a hard time disciplining them to the same extent.
Because we selected the dog because they were so cute.
Because they were cute, and man, right? It's like, oh,
the number one wine.
You're so soft.
Soft and cuddly. So crates, pens, leashes, and place beds all come into play for selective confinement. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to circle back to that.
I'll circle back to one thing. It's like if your dog has 1 ounce of training, been through one session, and your dog is not acting appropriately in the home, strap a leash on for 3 days in a row and tell me that your dog doesn't act totally different.
Yeah. Right, because you are holding them accountable.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
they
totally different
understand
situation.
that difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The next thing, so that what we are talking about is management strategies. It's like when your dog barks at the front window, and that's the only place where they bark in the home. Why do you let them keep getting in the window?
Right, they've lost that privilege.
Right.
Because they
Prevent them
don't treat it appropriately.
from getting in the window.
Mm-hmm.
It is you will never see with your eyes the level of motivation that a dog has to chew on the sofa.
Yeah.
You'll never pick up on that.
Mm-hmm.
But you leaving the dog out next to the sofa is like, it's just a huge amount of temptation if you've already identified that they really enjoy chewing on the sofa.
Yeah, it's like leaving
But
the kids
people
in
are
the
like,
room
well,
with
I
candy.
trained my dog not to.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to just leave the house, cross my fingers and hope. And that's insane.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only dog trainer that says that. There's some really high level, high profile dog trainers that literally call that out as like expecting the dog to just make good decisions because you told them to is crazy.
Yeah.
Don't put your dog in a position where they can fail and now you're mad at them and now they're in a position where they're like, oh, well, why are you mad at me?
Mm-hmm.
And now you've like created this little rift in your relationship.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Just put them in a crate.
Yeah.
But that takes time and effort and other decisions. Like, well, I don't want to put them in jail. Why does it have to be jail?
Yeah.
So, you can listen to the crate episode. We talk a lot more about that. If that's a big hang up, but selective confinement or just general environmental management is the number one way that we prevent bad choices in the house.
Yep.
Next one, rule out a veterinarian issue, right? A health issue.
Yeah.
There are some dogs that they're having, they have a bad tooth.
Mm-hmm.
They have bleeding gums. They have pica. They have a health issue that increases their desire to chew on something to soothe them.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like we said before, they have a bad hip. They have a splinter in their paw and they start licking that paw, trying to like fix their paw. And then they end up licking the carpet. And as they're licking the carpet, they don't really realize it. And then they are like kind of picking at it. And they're like, oh, well, that's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then they chew up your carpet. And you're like, what the heck? Well, it started very innocently while they were trying to, self-clean themselves.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And then you can
figuring out what is going on is really important. And sometimes all we're saying is that sometimes there can be a health issue that is involved.
Yep. And then also like giving them something to chew on that they are allowed to chew on.
Providing appropriate
yep.
chewing items.
Yep.
Correct. Toys, bones.
Yep.
Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And then rotating them so that your dog doesn't get bored, because the concept of a dog not getting bored with a toy or a chew item is super common, right? If you have a basket of toys and you dump them all over the living room floor, within a couple of days, the dog is going to be tired of all of those toys and he's not going to care.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as just getting bored with something. So keeping items and rotating them so that the dog has access to one at a time is an important concept as well.
Yep. Next one is increase their exercise. Increase their amount of structured exercise and mental exhaustion. Mm-hmm. The more that you wear your dog down mentally, the less they will find, because we named like 3 or 4 different reasons why a dog chews, and they're all not every single one, but the major 3, they're all related to a dog that is anxious, with pent up energy, and no outlet.
Yeah.
A mentally stimulated dog solves all of those.
Yeah.
So food puzzles and scent games and food scavenger hunts and all sorts of things.
My new favorite is blowing bubbles for your dog.
And blowing bubbles. Some dogs really love it.
Right. And it is stimulating. Like they have to jump, they have to catch them, they have to do different things. So it is a stimulating game for dogs.
Yep.
I know it seems silly, but
Non-toxic bubbles.
yeah, non-toxic, obviously. I think
I don't
most
think
of them
they
these
make
days
toxic
are
bubbles.
right. It's like kids eating crayons. It's like we're all fine. We're just gonna
But
we can eat the
it's a
crayon.
big selling point.
Okay.
These are non-toxic.
Yeah. Whatever you need to buy to make you.
Obviously, don't put your dog in danger.
I'm sure they make dog specific bubbles at this
They probably
point.
do.
I'm sure. If not.
So
up.
finding activities for your dog to do to wear them down both mentally and physically
Yep.
will put you statistically in a much higher likelihood of coming home to a house that is in one piece than not. And on this, I've been waiting to talk about this, but this concept of chewing, biting, tugging toys, and the fact that some people avoid them completely because they're worried that it will increase the dog's drive to bite and nip and chew on other things. But I haven't really found that in my experience, and my understanding of the science behind it is that a dog, all dogs are like this body that's built around this mouth. It's their number one way that they interact with the world. It's their number one way that they defend themselves. It's their number one tool that they use for everything.
Yep.
So the concept that, well, I'm just not going to teach him how to use it so that then he doesn't use it is null and void.
Yeah.
Instead, show them and teach them and pattern them on what they should use it for. That's where the tugging and chewing and biting toys come into play.
Yeah.
By teaching my dog what to bite, and inevitably sometimes he gets real close to the hands, that's an opportunity for me to be like, whoa, no, don't do that. Do this. And I can move the toy and give him room to bite that again.
Yeah.
And it feels very different to his mouth when he bites my hand or he bites the toy. But when it's in play and it's quick and it's all these things, right? We pattern it, and it's not the same as a dog just like biting you.
Yeah.
Right? Where I was going with that though is that if you never teach your dog what to bite, then they may just make their own choice of what to bite. If you never teach your dog what to chew, they're probably just going to make their own choice about what to chew. I will always encourage all clients and dog owners out there to teach their dog what to do by showing them and by encouraging them. Let them run the experiment and then show them that they did a good job by choosing the right thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, side note, they do make dog bubbles. They're peanut butter and bacon flavored.
That
So
is awesome.
It's not an idea that is original.
I learned something new today. I did not know that they had peanut butter flavored dog bubbles.
Me too. I was like, there's for sure a way we could market peanut or dog
That's
bubbles
so
if there
smart.
aren't any, but there are
Of course there
dog
are.
bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's thought of everything. It's
I know,
crazy.
I'm telling you.
Do you have something to add on the chewing and the opportunistic chewing?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay. So we want to teach calm independence rather than constant stimulation. That's the next one. Sometimes you need to, this is where place comes into play, and we've done a whole podcast on this as well. But place is an opportunity to tell a dog, no, I want you to go and lay right here or just stand here, just be in this little vicinity and just turn off.
Yeah.
If you don't, this is like the biting and chewing and whatever toys. If you don't teach your dog to do nothing, when are they going to learn to do nothing?
Never.
That's a learned skill
Yeah.
of chilling and turning off. You have to pattern that. And then we want to reward engagement with the approved items. And we want to use it consistently across the board. So when a dog does the right thing, when a dog does a good thing, give them those items that you can chew and tear up or bite or whatever it is.
Yep.
Because we have to meet the dog's genetic disposition one way or another. Otherwise, the dog will find things to meet that.
Yeah. It's never what we want.
And so what also goes into this is that you can't just replace one thing with another in the same proximity either. We want to so if we're using chews or treats or something like that, we don't want to pattern these things right next to each other. And so where this comes into play, if your dog is chewing on the sofa, on the leg of the sofa, you're not going to take your chew toy and put it right next to it so that then the dog relates that chewing behavior potentially to the sofa still. We want to remove that and put it in a different location. So by showing the dog with very clear, we want night and day clear communication with our dogs. Instead, I'm going to put that chew toy in their crate. I'm going to put that chew toy on their place bed. I'm going to put that chew toy in the places where I want the dog to hang out, not in the places where I want them to not go, if that makes sense. So that's the last little tip I've got. All right. So at this point, I'll open it up for questions. And there we go. Got them on here. Real quick. I was not prepared.
Right, I was like, where's our Jeopardy? Is
Right,
that
I
what it is?
know.
Jeopardy?
Where is it?
Jeopardy music or elevator? No, it's Jeopardy, right?
Right.
I'll just start doing
Here we go. Yeah. I found it.
Oh, okay, thank
There it
goodness,
is.
because I didn't know how long I could do that for.
All right.
Probably not long. My tone was off.
If anybody has a question, now is the time to ask. Then we will open it up for listener projects.
I've got a question.
Got a question? I'm turning it off. All right. Go ahead.
So if you are giving your dog something that you want them to do on the place bed, and they keep taking it away and off of the place bed, what do you do?
I quietly, without any other real precursors or any other variables, I just quietly remove it from the dog and put it back on the place bed.
Yeah. Usually it only takes about 3 times or so, really, like average, I'd say, for the dog to be like, well, they just keep putting it back over here, so I'm just going to stay over here.
Right. Because you'll increase frustration
Yeah.
with that. And so I don't correct it. I don't say no. I don't anything other than remove it from the dog in a way that doesn't create a game. That's the other thing. You can't like rip it away and then run across the room with it. That can be useful in some times where we get the dog to chase us instead of us chasing the dog.
Yeah.
But either way, that can create a situation where the dog then repeats the behavior because they know you're going to engage to them. Yeah. So instead, just be real boring about it, but take that thing away, put it back on the place bed, and then walk away and observe from a distance.
Also, if the dog isn't really experienced in extended place work, using like a tether method for place can also work in some instances, like for puppies and things like that, where they haven't stayed on place for a long time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. All right. We will move on very quickly here to listener projects. All right, listener project number 1, Chew Zone setup. Select a couple of approved chew items, whatever you're okay with, And then remove access to the household items you're not okay with, and put the dog in an area through selective confinement. Use a gate or block off, an area or something like that, and show the dog that, hey, these items can be chewed on in this area, but not in that other area. Mm-hmm. Redirect calmly to the approved chews, and then praise the correct choices. Number 2, pre-departure routine. So one of the things that we hear a lot is that, well, when I'm getting ready to go, that's when my dog has a complete change in behavior.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're running little experiments, and you've shown them that you have certain things that you do reliably before you walk out that door. Yeah. So, what you're going to do for this project is you're going to add structured exercise or training before you leave. So you're going to back up your schedule just a little bit so that you can get 10 or 15 minutes, even if it's just 5 minutes. That's fine. But try to get that a couple of minutes in where you can either wear the dog out physically, or you can wear the dog out at least mentally. And as you do that, then you provide a safe chew at the end when you're about to leave and you walk out the door. And what you will find is that chew will be a lot more satiating than the other exciting things that the dog is finding that you would rather they leave alone. That goes with, you have to condition them towards that. If you get a brand new chew, your dog has never chewed on anything before, you get a brand new thing right out of the package and then you just give it to them, you walk off. It's highly likely it's going to be boring, right? And that's why they make chew toys and different toys that like are scented, right? Mm-hmm. To draw the dog's attention to it. But it may take a little bit of play. This project is recommending you use a chew that the dog already finds value in. Don't just use a brand new thing. Mm-hmm. By then combining those two projects and having the dog in an area where there are chew safe items, you're going to statistically lower the chance significantly that they're going to make bad decisions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then keep your departure calm. That's the last step. Keep it calm, keep it predictable. You decide when to leave. This is a leadership skill. We're not looking to the dog, okay, I'm out of here, goodbye. No, you just get your stuff. You walk out the door. You've already said your goodbyes. You've already done all of your other things. At the point where you're ready to leave, you leave. That's going to reduce your dog's anxiety to the whole concept. Mm-hmm. All right. That is all I've got for today. So we will close it out with, there's our music. Mm-hmm. Thank you for joining us tonight for Destructive Chewing. Episode 21. Super excited to be into the 20s on episodes. We'll keep bringing them to you each week. If you are listening to this and you've got a comment, concern, something that you think we can do better, please reach out. Leave me a comment on whatever the app is or the platform that you're listening to, or email me at ryan@topdogtrainingnc.com. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.